The COVID-19 pandemic was the centerpiece of Prime Minister Andrew Holness's address at Tuesday's United Nations high-level virtual event. The event zeroed in on jobs and social protection for poverty eradication and sustainable recovery. Speaking in the capacity as co-convenor, Mr. Holness called for greater equity to finance and tackle issues of the digital divide between nations. Gabrielle Thompson takes us through that story.
In his address, Mr. Holness spoke to the development of financing in the advent of the COVID-19 era. He said the global pandemic has brought the need for equitable access to finance into sharp focus.
The multiple challenges associated with the COVID-19 pandemic have placed severe pressure on our fiscal accounts, threatening our hard-won macroeconomic stability. The pandemic has demonstrated how quickly our development gains can be eroded, and that much more needs to be done by the international community to secure a resilient future for the most vulnerable. We must retain hope in our ability to meet the targets for the SDGs, even with adjusted timelines. Mr. President, last year, along with the Prime Minister of Canada and the UN Secretary General and other heads of state and government and key international partners, I convened the Financing for Development in the Era of COVID-19 and Beyond initiative. The outcome was ambitious, yet practical, with policy options to support COVID-19 response and recovery for consideration by the international community. It now remains for us to take action.
Mr. Holness said the pandemic has also underscored the need for greater digital inclusivity for nations.
We believe that countries should be supported in their efforts to build robust and resilient digital infrastructure. Public investments of this sort can serve as a force multiplier in narrowing the gaps that result in inequitable development outcomes. Universal, secure, and affordable digital connectivity is needed to ensure inclusive and sustainable development. We, therefore, advocate for an increased digital alliance within the global community and support the UN Secretary General's high-level panel on the Digital Cooperation Roadmap.
The event was chaired by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Several heads of state and multi-world leading agency heads and stakeholders took part in the high-level meeting. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Gabrielle Thompson.